welcome you to this broadcast of college football on NKTelco Sports. We're at Dial-Roberson Stadium where the blue streak of John Carroll will take on the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern University. John and Tony's Restaurant, Four Seasons drive-thru, Jalapenos Mexican Grill, whatever cards and games, and NKTelco all bringing you this afternoon's game between John Carroll and Ohio Northern University in Ohio Athletic Conference play. I'm Dave Helmstetter. Alongside me this afternoon, Michael Hearn. And as we look at the Ohio Northern University Polar Bears, head coach Dean Paul describes his team, Michael, as a young team in a growth stage. He feels the team's closing that gap, but today they've got 6 sophomores and 3 freshmen that will be starting. He's also encouraged that he's got his quarterback back, Taz Figueroa, and a cornerback back, Ed Manning.
Yeah, we saw Ed Manning had an interception in the first game we did here this season, and then to get Taz Figueroa, who we thought was going to be the starter 2 weeks ago. Now you're going to get to see the defense of Ohio Northern first as John Carroll won the toss and it chose to take the football. But it really is interesting to see, after being blown out by Mount Union here 2 weeks ago at home, you get another ranked team. You go from number 2 to number 25 in John Carroll, and what exactly that off week, or essentially almost 2 weeks with the way that it looks, what did that do for Northern? And they're playing in front of a special crowd here today as they have a cancer awareness event going on.
And on the other hand, John Carroll, a very experienced squad, strong defense, a balanced offense. They bring into today's game the number 2 ranked defense in the OAC. They only allow 11.8 points per game and an offense that rivals Mount Union's attack. Ohio Northern, on the other side, is a team that struggled on offense.
Yeah, and you look at John Carroll's offense, it's not exactly as lethal as what Mount Union is in that quick strike that can hit you from anywhere, but it's efficient, and that would be the one big word I would use over and over for John Carroll. I mean, you look at Joe Collins, last week 15-19, 195, 3 touchdowns. He's right now the most efficient passer in his first full season that John Carroll has ever had. He's second in the OAC right now, but it's just going to kind of be that first possession is going to be fascinating to see if Northern's defense is, the only term I can think of, is grown up during that bye week.
And let's take a look at our keys to the game here today between John Carroll and Ohio Northern. First for John Carroll, the visitors, all brought to you by Keyhole Pizza.
And you take a look and you see they have to take care of the football. That really goes to what I was talking about being efficient and being just kind of plodding along. They have to try to adapt to what Northern is going to try to bring them and see if they can figure out a way to neutralize any kind of schemes that maybe Northern has come up with. Because Northern, like I said, the bye week, they got an extra week to see John Carroll. That is always the greatest thing you can do, go into every play with a great attitude.
Head coach Dean Paul, 155-80 for the Polar Bears. They come in 1-4 and 1-3 in league play, and keys for Ohio Northern.
Hey, you look at Northern, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, especially with the wind. It's not as bad today, but winning the kicking game, and it'll start here in about 45 seconds. Winning the turnover battle, it's not hard to say. If you win a plus-minus, you're probably faring pretty well. And control the line of scrimmage. They've got a terrific defensive line. They just have to make sure that their offensive line goes along with it.
And you know, you look at Ohio Northern University as we're just about ready to kick off. They do have the makings of a very, very solid defense.
And again, we see them here in just a couple of seconds. That ball sails off the turf, but you just see the despondency. I love kickers because it's always a wear your heart on your sleeve thing. That one bounced away from Dom DeFalco, who is part of history today.
That's right.
40 straight starts.
That's right.
He and I believe it's a young man we're going to see in just a second. Well, in a little bit, Brock Martin.
Yeah.
40th straight start is ties a Northern record.
That's an incredible feat when you think about it. Of course, they're fifth-year seniors. John Carroll will have the football. Football is resting at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Blue Streaks. Quarterback led by Joe Collins. Handoff to Demarius Goodwin, and he'll dance forward for about 3 yards. And boy, you know, when you look at John Carroll, they got two really strong running backs, Michael.
Yeah, and it also helps that they have a pretty good set of tackles. They've got a lot of experience, a sophomore, a junior, but a handful of grad students on this team. And Demarius Goodwin's a good one, if you look at it.
And Collins will hand off to Goodwin. He'll go left side. And the Ohio Northern defense closes in very quickly. And not much of a gain, perhaps a yard. We'll call it 3rd down and 7.
Crazy thing is, when these teams played last year, Demarius Goodwin had 35 carries. It's the 6th highest total in program history, and there's a lot of history on the side for John Carroll, especially when they come here. But it's a Northern squad that has been very good in the month of October here at Dial-Roberson.
3rd down and 6. Football just shy of the 30-yard line. Collins in the shotgun, taking a look at that defense for Ohio Northern. Beautiful afternoon for football. He's going to throw the football, and it goes over the head of number 14, Brennan Few.
Looked like that was going to be a double move, and either the quarterback and Collins wanted to get rid of it a little earlier. He had time, didn't wait on the comeback part of it. He threw the up and out, and is incomplete. Good first defensive stand for Northern.
Definitely a positive experience for Ohio Northern on defense. That's going to have Grant Gagne. Number 49 will punt it for John Carroll, and Ohio Northern on the return. Line drive, kick, it bounces at the 41. And it's going to roll to the 31-yard line. So Ohio Northern will have the football at the 31-yard line, 1st and 10. And the Polar Bears, with 13 minutes plus on the clock, will have the football in a scoreless battle with John Carroll. And, you know, when you take a look at John Carroll, the only losses at the opening game of the season, they're 4-0 in the Ohio Athletic Conference. And while they cannot let teams like Ohio Northern stand in their way, they're headed for that showdown with Mount Union.
Yeah, we talked about the reverse of that 2 weeks ago about what that game is going to look like. I believe it's in Alliance. It's not an easy place to win, but Taz Figueroa's got a big task here on the first drive.
Figueroa, he'll call the signals. The ball goes to the turf, and
I think he got
John
it back.
Carroll says they have it, but it looked like to me like Figueroa fell on it.
A miscommunication that John Carroll still says they have it.
And number 29 comes up with a recovery. That's Bricker Thiel. So on the first offensive possession, John Carroll comes up with a big play, and Thiel will have the recovery.
There you saw in that replay that Thiel, who had a humongous game against Northern last year, 5 tackles, 3.5 for loss, 3.5 sacks, fumble recovery, forced fumble, gets his team a great position here.
Football will nestle in at the 29-yard line of Ohio Northern, so a major break in the early going here.
Kind of goes back to the keys we talked about earlier on.
It's got to have head coach Dean Paul pulling his hair out. In motion, right side, snap coming to Collins. He's going to hand off, and they'll move it to about the 35. And that looked like
it was a good one on the draw, that delayed draw with a gain of 4. He had a really nice job on that play call, though, for John Carroll, that they have kind of seen how Northern wants to attack them. They bring that pressure on the ends on the outside, and the 2 big defensive ends. They just kind of waited, used their momentum against them, and picked up 4 yards.
2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the short side. Goodwin in the backfield. Ohio Northern showing pressure on the defensive line. Here they come, left side. Goodwin tries to get to the 25, and Ohio Northern defense closes in quickly.
Michael Johnson on that tackle.
Johnson with the stop. That makes it 3rd down and 5. And
he got a yard before he was driven back.
I'll tell you, the Ohio Northern defense is...
Watch Joey Turok in the slot on the bottom side of the right.
He's got one-on-one coverage, so let's see what happens.
That kid was a player. 2 state championships for Tiger Laverde at Kirtland. He also played for another couple. He's not a big kid, but he can be a game breaker.
Snap to Collins. He looks to his left, and Few will make the catch and catch the just at the first down marker, so John Carroll's drive will continue.
It's a nice little out route, just kind of play the short side of the field, and if you need something, maybe go to your leading receiver. One of the best receivers in school history for John Carroll and Brennan Few out of Pittsburgh, PA.
He ran that route perfectly, right at the first down, and made the catch and steps out of bounds.
It's the old Michael Irvin route. You know, you need 7, he's going to get you 8. He'll be right at the sticks.
McVay is in the backfield.
Depends on what you read.
That's right. McVay goes to the right side. McVay trying to get inside the 15, and
it's not a lot. Dalton Jong in on the tackle again as a gain of a couple of yards.
I tell you, we can talk about Dalton Jong a lot because his game against Mount Union was exceptional.
He had 15 tackles in that game. He gained 5 on the run, and that's a little change of pace for Evan McVay out of Aurora. About 8 yards a carry on the year. It's the fourth best career yardage, or yards per carry. About 6 yards a carry for his entire career.
It's like Goodwin's. I know McVay's still in the backfield. Fake goes to him, comes to the right side, and inside the 10. And the catch was made by number 4. That's
that would be Benjamin Scabona. 6'5" freshman out of Harpersfield. Enough for the first down. It's a lot of different players. We talked about Mount Union having about 200 players. It feels like John Carroll's got
every bit of
that many.
Yeah, definitely have the depth. McVay in the backfield, Collins in the shotgun. He'll pitch it to McVay. He tries to go left side, tries to get inside the 5.
Lost the football.
Football is loose. Ohio Northern they're saying they've got it, and the official makes the call. Let's see if we can determine who made the recovery.
Here's the replay, get you a look at it. Just kind of a massive humanity. There's the jump cut. And I think that's really what kind of knocks him off balance. So lose the football right about here into a sea of black jerseys.
You see it rolling.
And that's so big for Northern because we talked about making it your own game. That the plus-minus category will go up. We're back to even.
And the football will be at the 5. Now they need to do something on offense. And
it's kind of like a foul ball in a way, that it gets you another chance if you're Northern. You avoided that third strike, and it's time to try to do something here.
Let's see what Ohio Northern can do. Martin is going to be in the end zone. Figueroa will take the snap. Martin's coming to his left. He's got a little bit of running room across the 10. He'll fight forward to the 20. And Brock Martin with a nice run.
And that's the All-American Brock Martin that Northern has been looking for this season, not the guy who's averaging 2.7 yards per carry. That's his explosiveness when he gets going, of why he's one of the better rushers in Northern history.
Clock at 9.5 minutes. Figueroa, 3 receivers right side, Martin in the backfield. Martin gets the call right side, cuts up through the 25-yard line. Nice gain, and boy, you're so right, Michael. Brock Martin, it looks like he is leading the attack today on the ground for Ohio Northern.
Crazy thing is, Northern only averages 94 rushing yards a game, but this is number 2 defense in the OAC in rushing, and they're top ranked, or at least in the top 33 in the country. Martin, he seems like he's on a mission today.
Figueroa. Carroll showing blitz. They'll dump it off to Martin, but it's going to be just short. And Figueroa goes to the turf, and Martin might have had some running room there, at least enough to maybe get near that first down marker, and it's 3rd down and 4. I like that play call.
I think you'll probably see that again. He's got 14 catches all in the year, but has not been able to turn it into a ton of yards.
Martin has got 236 yards rushing this season.
I was going to say, watch that kind of offset draw. Trying to look at the pressure up front.
Figueroa over the middle.
That's got to be a hold.
Just incomplete.
I am surprised that there's maybe not a holding call there. He tried to throw over the middle to Jet Morgan. It's kind of hard to do when the defensive back and Kiefer Askew, the Hanover College transfer, had a long part of his jersey.
John Michael Elliott will come in to punt, averaging 38.2 yards per kick.
I think he sounds like a great country singer.
Doesn't he?
I always think I'd buy his album.
I would. 8 minutes, 41 seconds to go here in the opening quarter of football. He'll get the kick away.
Look at the swirl of it.
Well, it bounces at the 38, goes out of bounds.
It's a big thing that I was thinking about as I was looking at this game this week is both punters average well over 40 yards a punt. And when you have a guy back there that when you're forced to give away the football can essentially flip the field for you, that's a big weapon.
There you see John Carroll. They break from the sideline. They'll come out and set up. John Carroll averaging 35 points per game on offense. They allow about 11 plus.
And this is their big quarter too. They come out and hammer you. 52 of their points so far.
And here goes to the left side. There's some running room.
I love the timing that has to take play to be able to run that.
That's Christian Detweiler with the carry on the lateral from
it's kind of like a modified version of a jet sweep or just that comeback. And that's always the thing statisticians hate. Is that a pass? Well, did he throw it a yard forward? It's like the shovel pass.
Snap comes to Collins. Pass complete to Torque, but he's going nowhere. Great defensive effort there by Javon Taylor.
It's probably got a pretty good amount of family here, I would think. He's out of Fort Wayne.
5'10", 195-pound senior, fifth-year senior with the tackle.
Of course, that's if they can get down 30.
And that might be a challenge.
Whole other thing.
That's a whole other story. That is correct. I take it you have had experiences with 30.
Orange Barrel City.
Looking at 3rd down and 6.
It's not any better if you're going to Cleveland.
John Carroll, 2 receivers to the left side. Collins looking down over the middle. Pass to Torque.
Should be a 1st down, Joey.
Looks like he's right there.
Able to get there. I'd tell you what, this is the first time that I've seen Joey Collins play. He played a couple of games as a freshman, threw a couple of passes, and really has been behind Jake Floria, who's one of the all-time passers in John Carroll history. But I'm surprised. That was a nice check down. I really thought he was going to go wheel run on the backside.
He's going to be just short of the 1st down. They're going to mark it about a yard. So it's 4th down and 1. John Carroll, the Blue Streaks are going for it. Big play, 6:28 to go. John Carroll will take a timeout. We'll take a break in the action as well. Our score, Ohio Northern nothing, John Carroll nothing. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Whatever Cards and Games in Ada is your locally owned, family-friendly business for all your gaming needs. We carry a wide range of collectible card games, board games, family games, role-playing games, educational games for all ages, and more. Stop in today for your much-needed expansion packs and war miniatures. We are an official tournament store for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Cardfight Vanguard. Expect an enjoyable time at Whatever Cards and Games, where there's fun for everyone.
4th down and 1, and John Carroll is going to punt it.
It looks like that.
It appears that way at least. Or try and draw Ohio Northern off sides. Good snap. Gagne's kick high in the air. Fair catch. Ball touches Ohio Northern. And number 42 for the Blue Streaks, that's Will Airbar. comes up with it.
And on this replay,
let's
watch
take a
how
look
high
at this one.
ball was. Austin Knight calls for the fair catch. Did he touch it?
Did he? Let's take a look at it closely.
They deemed that he touched it. I guess
I think it might have. Yep.
You blue dotted him.
I blue dotted him.
Well, they gave it to him. I don't know about that.
So the second fumble puts more pressure on the Ohio Northern defense. So far, they've been able to respond to the challenge.
Great job with the replay, by the way, because that's
a great. Yeah, it was a great shot.
Call up here and ask.
Collins for the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Torek.
Ran out of room. I'll tell you a little more about Joe Collins. He's actually born in Denver. It's the highest completion percentage in John Carroll history right now at 67%. That one obviously didn't help. But he was a backup quarterback in Michigan. He went to Catholic Central in Grand Rapids on back-to-back Division IV state title teams. Also played in the baseball finals, was an all-state product. And if you're going to replace an all-timer, that's a pretty good one for John Carroll.
And Collins will take the snap. 6:13 to go, first half. McVay, he's got some running room. He'll get across the 10-yard line.
He's got a great first burst of speed.
It's going to set up 3rd down and 6. And John Carroll really is looking, probably going to have to pass the football here. But the wind is in their face, so if they do get stopped, it's going to be a difficult field goal.
It'll be fascinating. Josh Beaver, who's 3rd at ONU all time with 28 sacks. 28 sacks in 29 games. You get a good shot of the flags that we're looking at just above the end zone there.
McVay will stand next to Beaver. Shifts to his left side. Collins looks right. Going right.
Got his feet in for the touchdown. Joey Torok.
Touchdown for Joe Torek.
I just said he could be a game changer. There you see the replay. Watch the action on the backside of this play. And then just one-on-one on the isolation over the corner, and he tiptoed his way in.
And that puts John Carroll on the scoreboard at 6-0.
That's his 2nd touchdown catch of the year.
Yanni Volas will try the extra point.
I'd buy his album too.
Kick is up. Flag has been tossed.
That's his, if it stands, that's his first missed extra point this year.
I think it's going to be done over because I think it might be a penalty. It's going to go against Ohio Northern.
I love the sound effect, though, that the second that he hit the upright, there was a cowbell.
Let's see what, there you see the official personal foul, roughing the kicker. That's going to go against Ohio Northern, so.
I was nice enough to hand the flag back to the official. It's always good.
Get a chance to kick it over.
They taught him manners at North Canton Hoover High School.
And your favorite musician, Yanni Volas, will kick it away.
He plays saxophone. Now, I don't know what Yanni plays.
Good snap. There's the kick.
Goodbye.
And it's good. John Carroll goes up. The first score of this afternoon's OAC game. Our score, John Carroll 7, Ohio Northern nothing. You're watching college football on Ohio Northern on NKTelco Sports.
Four Seasons Drive-Thru, we offer weekly specials that are sure to satisfy all appetites. Monday through Thursday, come in to enjoy our daily lunch specials. Friday is our Get It Till It's Gone fish special. Friday and Saturday, grab a 16-inch 3-item pizza, 10 wings, and a 2-liter for just $20. Sunday, we also have a 3-piece chicken for $5 and a 16-piece for $20. Four Seasons Drive-Thru, great drinks, great food, wonderful service, and amazing prices.
John Carroll scores first in this battle between Ohio Northern and the Blue Streaks, and they go up 7-0 as they'll kick it away into the wind. And boy, just two big mistakes here so far in the first quarter by Ohio Northern. The last one cost them 7 points.
The tee is not very helpful today, by the way. Ball keeps falling off, but yeah, it is. It's just one of those weird things that we talked about composure early on in our keys to the game. Right now, Northern had two big stops. They had one on the opposite end, but just couldn't get that last one. And good play calling by John Carroll.
And the kick is away. Nice high kick that's going to bound into the end zone. So Ohio Northern will have it 1st and 10. It's a pretty strong kick into the wind here this afternoon. So Ohio Northern will take over. And let's see if they can do something on offense. Ohio Northern comes into this afternoon's game averaging 18.7 points per game. They've given up almost 29 points so far this season. But Polar Bears really have the makings of a strong defense. Let's see what they can do on offense, as they've been able to do a little bit on the ground with Brock Martin here so far early here in the first quarter.
Which I think is going to be an important thing to keep doing.
Aiden Figueroa goes long. Pass is incomplete.
Trying to get to Jet Morgan, tried to turn on the Jets, but can't catch a ball that's in your sideline.
And Morgan, senior out of Worcester.
He's a change, too, because he was originally in the starting lineup for game number 1. We haven't seen a ton of him, at least here in the couple of games we've done, but maybe trying to come up with something different to free Brock Martin.
This is a keeper, Figueroa. First time we've seen Figueroa run, and he'll get across the 35-yard line, and he'll have the first down. So Ohio Northern on the move.
You know, and he's a little bit different than what Northern has had. As you see the replay, watch him break free, good zone read option. Brock Martin sells it to bring the defensive end in, and Figueroa, I think, threw about as much of a shoulder as he took.
So Figueroa's run picks up the first down for Ohio Northern.
Averages about 5 yards a run this year.
He'll throw it. Pass is completed to Jordan Dean.
7th catch of the year for him. Just a quick short game, but I like this play call because it's a more aggressive take for Northern, and you feel like they're kind of changing to where they're playing chess right now, that they're trying to play a couple of plays ahead, maybe to set something up. Austin Ike across the middle.
2nd down and 5. 2 receivers to the right side. Figueroa. Straight back. Pressure is there. Pass incomplete.
Through the hands of Davey Berner.
Looking for the big tight end, but it's incomplete. Clock will stop at 4:26 to go. Opening quarter of action here on NKTelco Sports. Thanks for joining us. Ohio Northern University and John Carroll doing battle on a beautiful fall afternoon in Ada.
See, this is, sorry. I was just going to say, this is a big down for Northern. They only complete about 25% of their third downs, but it's usually somewhere between 7 and 11 yards what they average. This is much more manageable with 5.
Morgan in motion. Figueroa under pressure. He'll move upfield, has the first down and more. Into John Carroll territory to near the 40-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to mark it at the 41-yard line. So the ability of Taz Figueroa to run the football is really a big weapon for Ohio Northern.
And the fact that he so smartly saw that. There was nothing downfield. John Carroll's got blanket coverage. He's not a big runner, just 135 yards on 28 carries, but he's got great poise, and a freshman will go a long way.
Nick Tangeman into the lineup for Ohio Northern, a Marion local graduate. He's over to the right side. Ball goes to Martin. He goes nowhere as number 50, Ben Grafton, in on the stop for the Blue Streaks. Grafton, 16 total tackles on the season, 7 solos.
He was an all-conference wrestler, too, in high school, but the other guy that makes that play, London's Bricker Thiel. You go one way, you get one guy. You saw in the replay. You go the other way, you get the other one.
Snap. Here comes the blitz by John Carroll. They'll hand it. Figueroa will keep it. Fake to Martin. Outside he goes. Ball is loose. The scramble and the race for the football. And John Carroll will win it. And number 2 with the recovery. That's Chris Golson. 5'10", 205-pound sophomore with the recovery. So John Carroll will have it. And for the 3rd time here in the first quarter, the Polar Bears fumble.
Right. He'll try to extend this play right about here. Tries to reach for a couple of more yards. Just looked like it fell out of his hand when he was being tackled. And Golson, Johnny on the spot.
So John Carroll's offense will come back on the field. A little over 3 minutes to go here in the opening quarter of play. John Carroll with a 7-0 lead.
It's encouraging, though. You've got essentially 3 turnovers if you're Northern, but you're only down 7-0.
Straight back goes Collins over the middle. It's completed. Tatus Tataranis with the catch.
It's a transfer.
He's a big tight end, isn't he?
Yeah, 6'5", 235, fifth-year senior. Is actually a transfer from Walsh University. What I loved about him is he could throw those blocks, but he was actually a quarterback both at Walsh and how about this? He played at Mentor High School, where there's a pretty famous quarterback playing for the Steelers. I won't say because a lot of people have an issue with being Steelers fans, but he actually outthrew Mitch Trubisky. He had 523 yards, most by any Division I quarterback in OHSA history in a game.
And the John Carroll Blue Streaks have the first down. McVeigh into Ohio Northern territory and should have a first down as John Carroll moves the chains.
Looking like a young Dave Helmstetter getting through there.
I was the center.
well, then the guy in front of him did a good job getting out of the way.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good change of pace, though, between McVeigh and Demarius Goodwin.
Collins, he'll take the snap. Fake. He rolls to his left, looks downfield. And he'll have the completion. And Tarek with the catch. Boy, you're so right about him, Michael. What a fine receiver he is.
Oh, I saw him play in high school, and he's probably one of those kids who played everywhere. In a couple championship games that we covered.
A few times against Marion Local, perhaps?
Yep. Kid's a heck of an athlete. As soon as I saw his name, I just said he's going to be a playmaker.
They'll go to left side. Goodwin back in the lineup. Tries to cut upfield. He'll get across the 25. And Demarius Goodwin with a nice gain.
And what's crazy about that play is when you see it from where we look at, it doesn't look like it does that much. But it looks like a 2-3 yard gain. He's just got that kind of good first step that he can make that work. And, you know, we talked about the offensive line for John Carroll against the defensive line and who would win the battle up front. Northern's not playing horrible, but John Carroll's picking their spots.
Goodwin in the backfield. Final minute of play coming up. First quarter, good defense. Number 51, Taylor Irigoyen for Ohio Northern with a big stop.
He saw that play coming. It's you can watch Irigoyen jump the line right here, and he waits for the move right there. He knows he's coming back, and just a bear hug for the running back in Goodwin.
Northern's defense is doing a great job here this afternoon. It's just they've been on the field a little bit too much after 3 fumbles by the Polar Bears.
Which has been kind of a story for the Polar Bears defense on the year. I wouldn't be surprised if Joey Torok comes into play here on that short side slant.
Collins looks to his right. He's going that way. Pass is going to be incomplete.
He was either way ahead of Torok or he was way behind the other receiver.
Just off target. 4th down and 4. Now what do we do? Football rests at the 26-yard line.
You talked about the wind earlier. Kicking's not an option.
That's a strong wind.
Be about a 38-yard field goal from here, but with that left hash, and it looks like the wind kind of spurting to the left of the kicker. Now it's what kind of play do you have? John Carroll's about 50% on 4th down this year.
McVeigh back into the lineup for John Carroll.
He's running out of time. Play clock at 2.
Downfield. Pass completed to Torek. Be chased out of bounds, but not before he picks up that first down.
I don't think that's the worst play in the world to end the break defensively or end the quarter for Northern, but that was just one where quarterback in Collins, he just made the right play. Stood in the middle of the blitz, took the hit, and made the connection.
First quarter is over. Our score, John Carroll 7, Ohio Northern University nothing. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Nareda Lanes in Ada offers men's league bowls on Mondays and Wednesday evenings, women's league bowls on Thursday evenings, couples bowls on Friday evenings, kids bowl on Saturday mornings from December through March, Scotch mixed double bowls on the last Saturday of every month, open bowling on Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon reserve the bowling alley for children's birthday parties, and on Sunday, lanes are available to reserve for birthdays of any age as well as for group events. Check out NaredaLanes.com for more info.
Back here at Ohio Northern University, Polar Bears find themselves trailing 7-0 to John Carroll. John Carroll 4-1 on the season, 4-0 in OAC play. Boy, taking a look at the first quarter, 3 fumbles stand out by Ohio Northern, 3 lost fumbles. Great defense by Ohio Northern, that stands out. And the John Carroll ground game is very good. And Torek is a pretty good receiver.
Well, the crazy thing is John Carroll has twice as many plays as Northern, but only about 40 more yards. Time of possession is 11 minutes to 3.
Here comes the pitch. And
another good snuff by Northern.
Ohio Northern right on the play.
Miles Aldrich out of Shawnee with the tackle. He's really come on the last handful of games for Northern.
So that's going to make it second down, and we'll call it 11. So a loss on that carry by McVeigh. 2 receivers right side, 2 to the short side. McVeigh comes up to stand next to Collins. Collins takes the snap, looks right over the middle. There's his receiver. Pass is complete.
Christian Detweiler again, his second catch. That's a nice route, though. He on that little comeback just dug his feet in there and watched him kick the little particles off the turf, too.
That makes it 3rd down and 7.
It's the 11th play of this drive.
John Carroll just crunching it out.
They're yelling money down. I feel like I'm in St. Mary's on a Friday night.
Money down.
Collins 10 of 13 throwing the football. This might be another one of those zone read draws.
Collins, he looks right over the middle under pressure. He'll dump it off to McVeigh. He's got room. He's at the 5, and he'll get inside the 5, I do believe. They'll mark it at the 4.
Another first down. That is 5 on this drive. Started the John Carroll 31 at 3:17 in the first, and they've reached the red zone where they've been pretty good this year, 17-27 with 15 touchdowns.
So it's 1st and goal for the Blue Streaks. McVeigh in the backfield.
Be surprised if this doesn't go to McVeigh.
Also having another blocking back in there. Goes to the big fullback, and he'll drive it home. That's number 39. Mason Sullivan, another guy out of Kirkland. He finds the end zone. And it's a touchdown with 12 minutes and 50 seconds to go here.
You see a guy that plays for Kirtland, you recruit him because it's pretty much like a college program.
Extra point kick coming up by Volas. Gagne, the punter, holds it. Kick is up, and it splits the uprights. So first half score with 12:50 to go. John Carroll 14, Ohio Northern nothing. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Households are using more connected devices than ever before. TVs are streaming, smartphones are browsing, security cameras are watching, and virtual assistants are, well, assisting.
You'll need an umbrella today.
As you add more devices, we are constantly improving our technology to deliver the fastest and most reliable internet to your home. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get NKTelco high-speed internet with speeds up to 1 gig. Call 1-888-NKTelco today.
To nothing. John Carroll with the lead. Has to be a frustrating afternoon for the Polar Bears. Boy, defense has played well, but John Carroll has taken advantage of those turnovers, and every coach in the world will say almost in keys to the game, it's turnovers, and they're looming large today.
Second rushing touchdown of the year for Mason Sullivan. Now, this is a different kind of program. You look at John Carroll. Well, the fact they have a coach who's been there for 4 years and Drew Nystrom. He's the interim head coach for a team that's ranked number 25. Kind of his big thing I read a lot about was, we're trying to keep their tradition, keep things moving. Off to a 4-1 start. You talked about 4-0 in the OAC, and they've got some pretty big results already on the year.
Yeah, Drew Nystrom, he replaced Ryan Fanati, who was the coach for 3 years, had an excellent record, 33-11. Here's live action. Ohio Northern trying to pick up some yardage on the rush as Javon.
Should be Jameer Nunley.
Jameer Nunley, thank you.
Out of the Cleveland area, Mayfield Heights.
Getting my number ones mixed up because there are two of them.
We did that already.
We did that.
I know. That game 1, yeah.
Yeah. Nunley with the carries. That's good for him. That'll make it 2nd down and 2. Figueroa looking downfield. Pressure from the defensive end is there as he tries to get it out to his tight end, Noah Miller, and it's incomplete.
6'5", 245. You overthrow that kid, you're probably going pretty high.
3rd down and 2.
I was thinking about, as I was reading about both teams, their rosters are just littered with kids with state title rings, and not just 1 or 2, but a lot, kind of individually. Again, Joey Torok from Kirtland. You've got Marion Local and Coldwater represented on the other side. Handful of Pennsylvania state titles, a lot of Pittsburgh area titles for John Carroll.
Figueroa surveys the situation. He'll look downfield to his left, and pass is going to be incomplete as Jordan Dean. Boy, it looked like it was a real tussle for the football there. So that's going to make it a 4th down. It means John Michael Elliott will kick it away.
Josh McClain, the all-conference defensive back, Cranberry Township, PA, on his back. See how the ball sails here on this one.
Daniel Gallagher back deep for John Carroll, number 22, 5'9", 170-pound junior. Elliott's kick, fielded by Gallagher at the 31, goes to the outside.
Miles Aldrich again on the tackle for Northern. Out to the 42. That is great field position for John Carroll.
And there's 11 minutes and 58 seconds to go here in the first half, so the Blue Streaks can.
And this is a huge possession. I mean, obviously all of them are. But this one, it kind of, if you're trying to make a statement, if you're John Carroll, you're going to try to do it right here. You might see them, I wouldn't be surprised in the first couple of plays, see them go for something big.
They'll have 2 receivers to the short side, 2 to the wide side. 1 running back standing next to Collins. Short pass incomplete. So that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10.
That one had some heat on it. Talked about Joey Collins playing in the state baseball finals in high school. He put as much as he could on that one. I think that was Brennan Few, his leading receiver, that he missed the hookup on.
Three receivers to the left side. Goodwin in the backfield. Snap. Goodwin carry right side. Not much.
He's pretty violently tossed to the ground there.
That was number 8, Trevin Salter, I believe.
I think you're right.
Salter was throwing the salt that time. He
showed him how they do in the dirty South in Atlanta, Georgia, where he's from.
makes it 3rd down and 6.
You see that replay. Watch exactly. Look for number 8 right in the middle of the screen, right about here. And 2 points for the takedown.
Josh Beaver also in on the hit too. 3rd and 6. This is a big defensive play for Ohio Northern, but they're going to jump off sides. Or, well, we'll see. Let's wait and see first. Unless they were drawn off sides.
That's what Kadarius Woodfork is probably going to explain. He tried to get back. Is it the first penalty of the ball game? I think it is. First accepted penalty of the ball game.
Yes. I think there was one earlier.
It was the roughing the kicker, yeah.
Roughing the kicker earlier.
That led to the kicker for John Carroll staying perfect on the year instead of the one that hit the top of the upright.
Goodwin in the backfield. 3rd down and 1 now.
It's money down.
Money down all the way. That's McVeigh. He'll have the 1st down.
This is one of those ones that he's directly across the way from me at the 47. And it's, if you had, that's a great spot. I didn't think he got it. It was the point I was going to try to make was we had a camera that was focused straight down the line on the ball. He spun backwards. His back went across where the line to gain was, but the ball never made it because it was in his opposite hand. So I personally, John Carroll's not happy, but I personally think that's a great spot.
That's 4th down and short yardage. John Carroll will go for it.
Picked up one earlier on.
Collins is going to throw it over the middle, and it is complete, and the 1st down. Nice catch by number 84 for the Blue Streaks.
Nate Trudeau on the tackle. He's got better hands than Justin does.
Trudeau with the catch. I got that one. I thought you were going to say Jack. Over to the right side. McVeigh, he's churning out the yards. He gets across the 30.
Remember 2 plays ago when it looked like doom and gloom that John Carroll didn't pick up a 1st down? That's now 30 seconds and 2 plays ago.
And they're moving the football.
Joey Torok back into the ball game. Northern gives up about 150 yards rushing a game.
And it's 2nd down and short. Football to 28-yard line.
Give it up 54 so far. Total yards right now 144 to 71.
Torek to the left side. McVeigh in the backfield. McVeigh, boy, nice speed and quickly hits that hole and moves it across the 20-yard line.
He's got 2 carries for 17 yards on the last 2 plays. Now the hyper tempo for John Carroll. I said his first step is something.
Miles Aldrich into the lineup for Ohio Northern. McVeigh right side shoots it forward and pick up a yard or so.
Downstairs wanted a hold. I don't disagree with their assertion. Tell you what, no matter what, it's going to be a heck of a game. It's that last game of the regular season between John Carroll and Mount. Because if you can execute this kind of running game if you're a John Carroll. Time of possession right now is 13:35 to 4:27. And Mount doesn't need very much time.
Goodwin with in the backfield. Fake to him. Collins goes to the left side. Short passes incomplete.
I don't really think that with the Northern defense and the linebacker in Peyton Wilson, that pass was going to do a lot, even if it was complete. Another Shawnee product.
For Tyler Hughes there, number 87 for John Carroll. Yeah, it should be a colossal matchup, Mount Union and John Carroll. The efficiency, first the efficiency of both the two quarterbacks is almost unheard of. You know, their percentage is 160 plus. That's excellent.
Both in the top 25 in the entire country. That's good for Ohio football, though. It shows what Ohio can do in D3. Is that ball knocked down at the line by Miles Aldrich again.
Miles Aldrich.
Watch him just jump through this line. He'll be the linebacker on the top half of the screen. Sees where it's going to go. Drops down in front of his guy right about here. And just wham.
So that means John Carroll will try the field goal. Yanni Bolas will try the field goal. He has 3 field goals on the season.
36 yards from the right hash.
He's got the wind. Placement, kick up.
This is going to be on Northern, by the way. They're going to be offside. I would bet this gets declined.
So we're holding our breath on the made field goal to see what the penalty is.
The entire left side of the line to the right side of the kicker came through early for Northern.
John Carroll, of course, wisely will take the points. Offside against Ohio Northern, so the field goal is good. And our score, John Carroll 17, Ohio Northern nothing. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
At First National Bank, we are working hard to make your life a little easier. With products like Card Valet, an app allowing you to control your cards with real-time notifications, transaction restrictions, and spending limits. The ability to access your money through 55,000 all-point ATMs across the country, surcharge-free. Live customer support when you need it, and online and mobile banking, allowing you to gain access to your financial information wherever and whenever you like. First National Bank, making your life a little easier.
John Carroll will kick it away after the made field goal, and it's going to soar into the end zone, so Ohio Northern will have the football. John Carroll just moving the football as they need to do so, and it's 17-0 here in the first half.
Well, like we talked about earlier on, you go back and you look at the time of possession right now as the number that just keeps getting burned in my brain is 17.5 minutes to 4.5 minutes. And when you keep your defense on the field that long, they have to make that play. Northern has 15 offensive plays. John Carroll has 36. That's the big difference. You have to make 36 plays.
Figueroa, left side. Martin, he's got some running room. He'll pick up the first down, and they'll get it across the 35.
Good little swing pass for 12 yards.
And, you know, you keep thinking about, take a look at that play one more time. Oh, this will be
there's the swing pass. There's the pass.
Here comes the swing pass to Martin. Nice little move outside.
Good blocking as well.
Yeah. Well, if you can take away the 3 fumbles, Ohio Northern's offense at times has moved the football straight ahead. Martin. Not much there. Boy, I'll tell you, that size up front for John Carroll, that impresses.
Nick Costanzo from out of Buffalo, New York. It's actually Maryville High School's all-time leading tackler. 6'1", 260 coming at you.
That'll wake you up and very quickly, as you see, 17-0 our score on the John and Tony's Restaurant scoreboard.
It's a little confusion with Northern with their play calling.
Figueroa takes the snap, fake to Martin, outside pass to
LJ Payton with his 9th catch of the year. Junior out of Wheelersburg. Picks up 5, and he really did a lot of that because that quick little screen is more of, hey, we know we have highly athletic guys on the outside. Go try to beat their corner.
So Payton's catch puts the football at the 42-yard line.
I always love watching the backup quarterbacks reel in all the signals because you have to know which guy's live at all time, and obviously you know, but if the defense is able to figure it out. They need the giant cards, though, with SpongeBob on them.
Jet Morgan to the right side. Figueroa under pressure. Gets it out to his big tight end, and that's number 82, Burner. Davey Burner with the catch and the first down.
I don't know if this is a better play by Figueroa from where he had to adjust to throw the football. You see right there, he took a hammer, or Burner to come back to get it.
Good play all around. Boy, Figueroa really saw some heavy pressure that time.
Second first down of the drive for Northern, 5th overall. So now they've got it moving. 3 of 9 throwing the ball is Figueroa.
Football at the 47-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Polar Bears, trying to get something going here in the second quarter. Pitch right side. Here comes Martin into John Carroll territory.
And I can't tell if he delivered the hit or he got the hit.
That was what, number 5, Josh McLean, coming up from his safety
here
spot.
you see on the replay. Watch just enough where you have to trust that Figueroa is not going to run. And watch the hit. Martin tries to lower the shoulder, and he takes a pretty good shot.
That's a collision. 2nd down and 3 yards for Ohio Northern. Clock coming up on 5 minutes here in the first half of play. Martin to the left, trying to find a hole. Not much there as the John Carroll defense collapses. Tyler Timmons with the stop.
I think maybe the next time that it runs in patterns, right? When you run these zone read options, the quarterback's either going to give it to Martin or he's going to keep it. It's pretty simple. You've got a 50-50 chance, but right now it seems like defensively, at least through the front 7, that John Carroll is selling out on the fact that it's going to Brock Martin because he's been able to get himself going.
LJ Payton goes wide to the left side. Martin in the backfield. Ohio Northern needs 3rd down, 3 yards for a first down. Figueroa is going to run with it.
You might have dove under the first down line. You need 3, he got you 3.1.
They're going to move the chains, and that's all that counts for Ohio Northern.
And that's kind of what I was saying earlier on about trying to kind of set up plays ahead where they've set up Brock Martin, and now I wouldn't be surprised. You see the replay, watch him get a couple of yards and realize, I'm not going to get very much. I'm just going to dive. It's good enough into opponent territory.
Ohio Northern trying to sustain this drive. Martin, he's got some running room. And Brock Martin with a nice run on first down. Clock at 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go here in the first half of play.
There's a line in the original Major League movie where they're trying to derail Pedro Serrano, and she mentions bashing like the Serrano of old. Right now, it's running like the Brock Martin of old, not the one we've seen average 2.7 yards a carry this year.
Certainly has to make head coach Dean Paul happy as Brock Martin in the backfield. 2nd down and 5.
But the question is the difference having a mobile quarterback in Figueroa?
That's a great question.
Jet Morgan with a nice catch at the 30.
He'll move it inside the 25-yard line. He may have stepped out of bounds before that, but nonetheless, it moves the chains again.
You get another look at this replay. This is just Figueroa on a straight throw across to Jet Morgan. over the top of the defense. Good throw. Now Northern moving the football like Dean Paul has talked about he would like to see them do.
Yeah, nice balance. You got the run, you got short pass, you got some nice momentum built up here for Ohio Northern. As late here in the first half, they're trying to put the football in the end zone. Martin.
Took too long to develop.
John Marcus Rowland in on the stop for John Carroll.
He went to Detroit Jesuit High School. Had a pick 6 against Baldwin Wallace a couple of weeks ago. Cassius Winston went to the same high school. Former Michigan State standout.
2nd down and 10, football at the 27-yard line.
10 plays on this drive already for Northern.
Taz Figueroa with it. He'll look to the left side. Pass is incomplete.
Look what I found.
But it bounces off a teammate and moves forward. Pass is completed to Ike. And how about that one?
How about that fact that that's his first catch? 26th of the year. Just one catch against Mount Union.
Watch
but it's the tip ball drill.
Right.
Look what I found.
The first pass was pretty good.
Right.
It was right in the hands.
That'll be interesting to watch during film study.
Yeah, that will be. 3rd down and 2. Ohio Northern needs a couple of yards to keep this one going. Figueroa is going to get it inside the 15-yard line.
Gain of 3, but clock now an issue with a minute to go. Next play of this drive will be play number 13.
Beautiful drive by Ohio Northern.
Northern has almost as many plays on this drive as they've had the entire game. And now they've gotten to within about 30 total yards in a timeout.
61 seconds left in the first half. We'll take a break. John Carroll 17, Ohio Northern nothing. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
1:01 on the clock. Ohio Northern takes the timeout to stop the clock, and this has been a very impressive drive for Ohio Northern.
Yeah, and it starts with the Taz quarterback double back there, where he is just able to bring new life into this offense. I mean, again, people say, oh, you're trying to hammer Brock Martin. No, just with the way that teams have sold out, they know what Brock Martin brings. He's a kid who's been there for a number of years, an All-American, had that injury, came back from it, but now you're seeing with a mobile quarterback who's got good decision-making skills, teams can't just sell out, and Martin is reaping the benefits.
John Carroll jumps offside.
Let me just go ahead and hit the guy.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you really hit it. Good decision-making skills. I think that's a very important part of this. He makes them quickly.
And I think it gives you the ability now, as Northern will have 1st and goal from the 9 to, actually, I'm sorry, 1st and 5 from the 9. To run different sets of plays. You see how the play clock maybe takes a little bit longer than what they've been doing, but you can run a bigger option play.
Figueroa, he'll take the snap. He goes to the right side. Ike with the catch, looking for the end zone. He's going to be
short.
Pushed out just shy of that elusive end zone.
Great play call, though. Northern sets everything up. They have a blitzer coming from the backside, and they bring in some heat right now because you get Tangeman and Noah Miller. Everybody's walking off the field. There's a timeout there.
Timeout has been. There's a timeout on the field, and Ohio Northern will stop the clock with, 55 seconds. And it'll be 1st and goal. I'd like to remind you of all of our sponsors here for this afternoon's contest between John Carroll and Ohio Northern. John Antoni's Restaurant, Four Seasons Drive-Thru, Jalapeno's Mexican Grill, Whatever Cards and Games, and NKTelco, our scoreboard sponsor, John Antoni's. I'd like to remind you also that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of this afternoon's college football action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Wednesday, November the 2nd at 5 p.m. Saturday, November the 5th at 7 p.m. You all can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports.
Figueroa keeps it himself. It's like stopped at the goal line.
Shy of the end zone, so that'll set up a second down and short. Clock, of course, now we've got to watch
this drive. Watch Figueroa's going to run into quite a few gold and white jerseys.
Not quite there. There you see the clock and the play clock counting down.
The option to Brock Martin, I would think, is coming. There's the handoff to Martin. He dances left, got spun around, and he's going to be stopped at the 1. Northern's got 20 seconds to come up with something different.
Just shy of the end zone.
This is a shame, too, for Northern, that this is going to come down to a potential field goal attempt.
So it's 3rd down and 1,
or could come down to it.
Could come down to it. We've got another timeout on the field. We'll keep it right here. And Ohio Northern, this is an opportunity that they haven't had for the entire half.
Remember, at one point, I said the total plays were 36-14. They're 36-30 now. Total yards are 153 to 140 in favor of John Carroll. And at least a little bit, well, almost even now. Time possession has gone from 17-4 to now 17-12. And this is what you want if you're Northern. Finish this drive with a bang. Make sure you get some points here. Go in 17-7, get a big stop coming out of the halftime break when John Carroll gets the football. And then maybe another one of these drives.
Let's see what Ohio Northern does. 21 seconds left. First half. Major play for the Polar Bears. Figueroa looks for the end zone. He'll find it. And Aiden Figueroa into the end zone with 18 seconds left in the first half. Let's take a look at it one more time. Nice little hesitation move, and into the end zone goes Figueroa.
Watch him saunter in like he's Jose Ramirez. Go to Jose Ramirez when he hits a home run.
Extra point kick coming up. Dom DeFalco.
I think he sounds like a TV detective.
He does.
It's a 5th-year senior. 40th straight start. Again, tied a Northern record.
DeFalco, number 86. Good snap. Kick is good. And with 8 seconds left to go here before halftime, John Carroll 17, Ohio Northern 7. We'll keep it right here and remind you that this afternoon's contest is brought to you by John Antoni's Restaurant, Four Seasons Drive-Thru, Jalapeno's Mexican Grill, Whatever Cards and Games, and NKTelco, all bringing you today's contests and other sponsors for today's broadcast. Whatever Cards and Games, Four Seasons Drive-Thru, Jalapeno's Mexican Grill with locations in Ada and Shawnee, and Northwest Ohio Liquidations, all bringing you today's contest. And this has to be very encouraging for Ohio Northern as they go into halftime, Michael.
Well, and especially the fact that it's recruit day, because I saw a lot of the high school kids in different jerseys. I saw Tecumseh High School down around Dayton. You've got New Carlisle. They've got a couple kids from Northern there as well. But I saw Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. You've got Kenton and the Delphus Jefferson football team who play next Thursday night against Spencerville in the Battle of Route 66. I'll say who I'm rooting for. But, you know, it kind of show, hey, this is what Northern football is about on that last drive.
And the kick is away as John Carroll will fair catch it at about the 22-yard line or so. So 8 seconds still stay on our John Antoni's Restaurant scoreboard.
That last touchdown, just the second time Northern scored in the third quarter this year, or the second quarter rather. That's something
amazing,
they would like to improve. I think with John Carroll, you throw one here, to be honest with you. A little short screen, maybe something over the middle, trying to break something out. I saw this last night, almost the exact same time on the field. St. Mary's was at their 1. They ended up getting a couple of yards and ran for an 87-yard touchdown. So it's not impossible. But if you're Northern here, there have been 4 fumbles in this first half total. They have 3 of them. But you're hoping for some kind of mistake and maybe a quick, short field.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Collins, he'll hand it off to McVeigh, and that should end the first half of play, and it does.
That's Connor Rowe out of Mantua, Ohio. Hey, I want to ask him, too. They have the Potato Festival. What exactly happens at the Mantua Potato Festival?
Well, they probably
Jack Lambert comes and hands out bowls of mashed potatoes?
I would think that's the
case. I really want to know.
We're at halftime here at Ohio Northern. Our score, John Carroll 17, Ohio Northern 7. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Wagner's IGA has been servicing their communities for more than 95 years, spanning 3 generations. Wagner's founded their business on 2 basic principles: excellent customer service and quality products. Visit all our locations and experience the finest selection of deli, fresh meats, and variety of beverage choices. While there, don't forget to check out our vast selection of fresh coffee beans, produce, dairy, and bakery items. Visit Wagner's today in Minster, Fort Laramie, and New Bremen, and check us out on Facebook.
Unpack your potential with a career at Pratt Industries. Working at Pratt Industries is more than a job. It's a sustainable career.
Pratt Industries to me is a job. It's my career. It's the way I put food on my table, but I love what I do.
We offer competitive pay, excellent benefits, and opportunities for career advancement. To apply, visit careers.prattindustries.com.
Back here at Ohio Northern University, the Polar Bears with a scoring march just before the end of the first half of play really have, we'd like to hope that as we move into the second half of play, has turned a little bit of momentum on their side. And when we take a look at our statistics here, Michael, the numbers really changed because of that drive.
Yeah, remember everything was 2, 3, 4 to 1, but total yards are within 14. Rushing yards, that was a big part of the almost 8-minute drive that Northern had to end that first half, essentially. Just the fact that they're able to pick up, they're averaging almost 6 yards a play now, and John Carroll, who started at about 6 yards, are down around 4. First downs are even, and that's because 5 first downs for Northern on that last drive. And the time of possession went from, wow, who has the ball? No, wait, it's pretty close to even. And for Northern, it's important to get a stop here, that 3 and out that they had to open up the ball game, resulting in the punt before their 3 fumbles. You want to start more like the second quarter than the first quarter, if that makes sense, people on Twitter. But a big portion of what this is and what this game is, 17-7 at home is not an immovable object. You can do a lot. I mean, Northern comes back, gets a stop, gets a touchdown, all of a sudden it's a 1-score game.
And when you take a look at those stats, didn't show the 3 fumbles that Ohio Northern lost. Those are history, hopefully. They lost 3 of them, and they were at times moving the football. Nice little balance with Taz Figueroa at quarterback.
Like I said, a mobile quarterback can do you a world of good. If you're Northern, it opens up Brock Martin. He's got about 35 yards rushing in the first half, but they've come in big spurts. You're now able to throw the football more effectively if you're Northern. I would think that not only will that zone read option with those 2 guys be a big thing, but watch for Austin Ike maybe on the first drive. Watch them try to get him involved. He's got just 1 catch, and he's the big playmaker for ONU's wide receiving core.
And Ohio Northern should get the football first here to start the second half, so if they can duplicate that kind of drive, it's really going to change this game around a little bit. And that means a lot to Ohio Northern, who's coming off that 45-0 zinger against Mount Union.
And also, you get your defense a rest, because now they've had the 20 minutes during the halftime break, plus whatever this drive ends up being. It allows you to maybe take a guy like Josh Beaver and come after Collins on that first drive.
John Carroll will kick it away. Strong wind coming from the south, so they're going to hold it.
I think they're rowing the boat.
Yeah. There's the kick. And it's going to bound into the end zone. So Ohio Northern will have it on the touchback. And you take a look at some of the individual numbers in the first half, and for Ohio Northern, a lot of those changed dramatically. Figueroa was 7 out of 13 for 54 yards, and rushing, he had 8 rushes and 48 yards, which may not seem like a lot, but it also shows you that balance that you're talking about. He can run it and he can throw it.
And he does a very good job too of setting up on the run. The freshman out of Orange City, Florida.
All right, Ohio Northern with the football, 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. 3 receivers right side. Martin is going to rush it on the sweep. Got running room. He has a first down and more. And he bursts across that 35-yard line.
His longest run this year was about 21 yards coming into today. He's got 2 different 12-yard runs, but I like the fact that when he got into the secondary, he took a couple of long strides and looked for somebody to hit. He hit the safety in Josh McClain.
So it's another first down for Ohio Northern. Football across the 35, resting at about the 36, 37-yard line. John Carroll showing blitz. Here comes the defensive end. They'll dump it off to the left side. And
it's going to be a late hit.
Stepping out of bounds, and
pick up a 3 on that swing pass to Brock Martin, but this Figueroa got laid out. That's not a smart play. That's a free shot, but that's not a smart play. You've been able to get to Figueroa on the defensive side, but one of the guys on the outside just took a late shot at him. You see the top half of the screen there on the replay.
Yeah, uncalled for hit. Figueroa with the back turned to him. So that gives more yardage to Ohio Northern as they're going to move into John Carroll territory here on the first possession of the third quarter. And momentum here slowly trying to shift Ohio Northern's way.
Only -1 yard in the total yards, 154 to 153. Watch, though, if they're going to continue John Carroll to corner blitz. Watch and see if Figueroa picks it up and tries to hit one of his outside receivers.
Figueroa straight back. Over the middle, just overthrows one of his receivers.
It's LJ Payton again.
Payton, number 8, yes. Payton comes into today's game, 8 catches, 106 yards. Longest on the season at 37, so that's going to stop the clock at 13:51.
It was definitely a good throw. It kind of hit it on that up and in to Payton in between 3 different defensive backs.
Figueroa will take the snap at midfield. He'll dump it off to Martin. Martin's got some room. Number 57, Tyler Timmons, shows why he's an all-OAC performer with the stop.
Different dimension here for Northern. They talked about kind of that swing. It's about 4 or 5 yards every time that they throw to Brock Martin. But Northern continuing. This is almost like a day one thing. You get that week off. You've now shown an aggressive John Carroll defense. Hey, we can kind of chip at you too. We'll take 4 yards every time if we can hit Martin on now 2 passes in this half.
Figueroa. 3 receivers to his left. Martin as normal in the backfield. He's going to throw downfield. There it is. Open is Morgan. Touched on. Oh, he had it. in his hands and out of it, Michael. Can we cry on the shoulders?
He was walking on sunshine for a second.
Oh, that's a great way to say it, for a second.
Man, that was a heck of a throw by Figueroa.
That is
Morgan, you watch him. This is what I was saying. I was trying to illustrate about Austin Ike earlier on. They went the other way down the middle, and he's thinking about it. Touchdown.
Oh, that's a
great play by the defensive backfield.
Play. Yeah, you got to give that defensive player an awful lot of credit there. That's going to mean Ohio Northern's going to punt it from the John Carroll 41. Elliott.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Ready to call that one a touchdown. Football's at the 45-yard line. Good snap. Short kick. And it angles out somewhere in the vicinity of 15. Yeah. Oh, they're going to move it up. So John Carroll's really going to have good field position at about
25.
Almost a 25-yard line on that mark. So John Carroll will have it first and 10.
And you go back into the film study later on, and that'll be the heartbreaker, because it would be 17-13 right now with the extra point pending. You can't really into that wind. Maybe it sailed a little bit, gave the defensive back an extra half a second to try to get even.
Handoff. Here comes Goodwin trying to get to the 25, back to the original line of scrimmage. Don't think he even did that.
A yard,
it's going to be now they're going to mark it. See where they mark it. Yeah, they lost a yard.
But he's a home run hitter. You put him back there, and you got those two guys between Goodwin and McVeigh. They can really flip the field at any point.
McVeigh's back in the lineup. Collins, of course, the quarterback for John Carroll.
He's got to be a smart kid. He's a finance major.
Has to be. Over the middle with the catch is few, and he tried to hop, skip, and jump, but
he tried so hard to reset his feet once he got across Trevon Salter.
And he'll come down at the 34-yard line, or make that, the 29-yard line.
He gains 5. You saw the replay there. He got up into the air. There's not really much you can do at that point.
John Carroll, 2 to the left, 2 to the short side, which is the right.
And they know Northern's coming here, too.
Collins eyes the front line of Ohio Northern. There's the pass, and they just can't quite get the connection made to Brennan Few. They'll kick it away.
Just like the very first possession of the ball game. John Carroll goes 3 and out.
Scary part of that is Few was open.
Yeah, he had Ed Manning kind of looking around, trying to figure out where he was. Ed Manning out of Sanford, Florida. Same place Red Barber's from.
Gagne will kick it away. Line drive kick hits at the 36. Goes out of bounds at the 29, and Ohio Northern will do business starting at the 39.
I don't think that play where Northern essentially couldn't complete the touchdown catch is something that isn't going to come back maybe as early as this drive, because you've really now established you can run the football. You're leading the total yardage for the first time by 2 yards. You're able to pick up third downs at 5 of 8. Things are going right for you right now, but it's just about stringing them together like that last drive of the first half.
Yeah, Figueroa he had good protection, good look, put it right on the money. He'll take the snap at the 25, fakes to Martin over to the short side, and
Davey Burner.
One of the big tight ends, that's Burner, right? Yeah, Davey Burner. He looks to hit somebody after
Watch
he catches
the pickup by Brock Martin right here, the fullback on that block. Enough to give Figueroa a chance to get rid of it. Showing he can do a little bit of everything.
Oh, Burner likes to hit some people, doesn't he?
Yeah, he kind of lost where he was for a second, put his head down and said, you know what, forget about it. I'll just hit the guy in front of me.
There's nobody going to hit me. Figueroa on a draw, he'll go nowhere on this one.
He was directed into the back of one of his offensive linemen, it looked like.
Yeah, Nick Constanza, I think, will get credit for the tackle, so it's no gain, 3rd down and 9. And suddenly the defense has taken over for both these two teams here as we start the 3rd quarter in the 2nd half.
If you had defensive battle on your football bingo card. You can tweet us, by the way, where you're listening at NKTelco Sports. and watching along. Like a lot of the folks we have. I'm sure folks in Hawaii have gotten up early to watch this one.
There's a short snap, trick play. Ike has it, fumbles the football, and it's going to roll to the 38-yard line, and John Carroll will have it.
And the fourth fumble of the game, and Ike is down. Watch this. He takes a hit here after a little screen, right coming up here. Has a guy blocked into him and just sort of loses it as it is knocked away and eventually taken away and recovered for John Carroll.
I think it was John Marcus Rowland.
It was.
Michael. He has the recovery as Ike is down. The clock stops at 10 minutes and 14 seconds. There you see the John Carroll huddle. And what a creative play. What a gamble.
I mean, you're relying on the playmaking of Austin Ike, which is always a smart play, but I can tell you right now that I heard it and that the coaching staff, a couple of doors down from me, not 3 doors down, that's a different set of things, they're not very happy. It was a good play call, just unfortunately goes the wrong way.
And John Carroll, once action resumes, they'll have the football at the 37-yard line. Collins says we're going to take a timeout. 10 minutes and 14 seconds to go here in the third quarter. John Carroll takes the timeout. Our score, John Carroll 17, Ohio Northern 7. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
Joe Collins, 13 out of 20 passing here to start the second half, 95 yards. He'll drop back. He's looking downfield. He'll find his receiver. And there he takes off and down to the 5, fighting for the end zone.
He got to the 2.
That's Tyler Mintz, I believe, number 4.
It was Few.
Was it 14? 14, excuse me.
You can't tell because everybody's got half his jersey.
That's true.
It's a 35-yard gain on an 8-yard slant.
Take a look at it again. Collins over the middle.
Might not get a chance because John Carroll's headed back up the line.
Yep, that would. John Carroll threatening.
Dragging Beaver and Ed Manning.
Collins with the snap, handoff. McVeigh trying to find the end zone. Ohio Northern keeping them out. Lots of extracurricular activity going on inside that skirm. He's just shy of the end zone.
They asked him if he had directions to John and Tony's, and they said no.
They're supposed to make a left there.
Right. He tried that left on that delayed drive. I like the action, though, of that play with obviously faking the jet sweep and sort of running that draw on the backside. This, I would be surprised it wasn't just some kind of pitch or maybe a draw. So you've got Sullivan back in there. He's got the other touchdown.
You have Sullivan and McVeigh. Sullivan, big fullback. He'll find the end zone.
That's his 3rd touchdown of the year, 2nd of the game.
Mason Sullivan in the end zone, and with 8:46 to go here in the third quarter, John Carroll goes up 23-7.
You got to look at the replay. Watch the big guy. Upright runner, just gets himself with the hit of the end zone, and he goes in standing up.
Volas will add the extra point on.
That's a shame, too.
Good snap, good kick. It's through the uprights. 24 for John Carroll, 7 for Ohio Northern. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
We are here. and here, and here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
John Carroll maintaining their bid to remain unbeaten in the OAC as they score here with 8:46 to go in the third quarter and go up 24-7. And
this is good for Northern.
There's a penalty, so they're going to get good field position out of this. Now we're going to see how resilient Ohio Northern is.
This is the 1100th game in the history of Northern's program, by the way. It's kind of amazing when you think about that and you look
at
what they've done.
Of football.
That's, yeah, it goes back into the 1890s. Again, we talked about it last time. They played a lot of D1 teams like Ohio State. 552, 512, and 36 in now season 126. It's the 100th year for John Carroll. They just played their 100th game at Dial-Roberson Stadium. Yeah. But you look at last week, or last year's game between these two. John Carroll came in ranked 22nd. It was a 27-17 game. The total yardage in that game, almost 900 yards, 525 for John Carroll. But it's a much closer game here. Just the fumbles and the mistakes for Northern.
And they try to take it around the outside. That's Jordan Dean, wide receiver, with a carry, but nothing going as John Carroll's defense reads it. It's a loss of a yard as the clock comes up on 8:30 on John and Tony's restaurant scoreboard.
They'll have a place to go watch probably Clemson destroy my Florida State team later today.
Florida State, hey?
Yeah, it's not going to go well.
Here's the snap, Figueroa.
Jameer Nunley taken down almost immediately. It's almost as if the defensive line knew that play was coming. You see here on the replay, they just shot right through the gap from the outside. The defensive end right there able to run by everybody and put Nunley down.
That's the second rush for Nunley here today.
It was Griffin Lydyard, the sophomore out of Avon Lake. Been to Avon Lake. It's a nice place. My friends in Avon don't like it, but that's because they're rivals.
That's a big rivalry.
If you're not familiar with the greater Cleveland area.
Here comes the snap as Ohio Northern showing the three receivers to the right side. Martin in the backfield. Third down and long. Figueroa. Morgan.
Anticipated it. If you see this replay, what you'll notice is Morgan, that ball either held up for a split second or he just anticipated how that was going to come to him, because I think he mistimed his jump and it sort of threw everything else just a little bit out of whack.
It looks like he went up and then had to reach.
That's what happens when you have the high leaping abilities like guys like Jet Morgan and myself have.
That's right. Outstanding leaping abilities. John Michael Elliott will stand at the 20-yard line and kick it away.
There might be some haters on that. Gallagher out of Willoughby South High School.
Here comes Gallagher on the return. He'll go to the left side in front of the John Carroll sidelines. Run out of bounds there.
Peyton Wilson on the tackle.
At the 45, Peyton Wilson, Shawnee linebacker.
Leading returning tackler from last year for Northern. You look at what Northern's got coming up. Homecoming next weekend against Muskie, because half the people can't say Muskingum. I butcher it most of the time. Go to Marietta to end the month, and then to Otterbein, and back home. Another game we'll have against Wilmington to wrap up the year on November 13th.
Finale and final week. Wilmington, the opponent, as clock stands at 7:09.
It's a trip that it's much better to have them make here than us have to go down there.
That's quite correct.
We've done that trip before.
Collins almost intercepted out there on the on the flat, but it's incomplete. Clock stops at 7:06, and it's 24-7 yet. John Carroll with a big lead.
It's a great play on the outside by one of the safeties. Kind of read where that was coming from.
Second down and 10. Football rests at the 45. McVay, the running back, he'll get the call. Straight ahead, Beaver has him.
Beaver, after a gain of 3, just sort of clubbed him and rode him to the ground.
And Beaver was still standing when it was all over.
He was the happy one. Ever Josh Beaver try to hit you, 6'3", 235?
No thanks.
No thanks. Number 16 in tackles for loss in Northern history. Number 3 in sacks all time for the Bears. Something too about the pink for breast cancer awareness going along with the black and the white. Beaver's got a lot of it.
Snap's going to come back to Collins. He looks to his left. Now to his right, out of the backfield is Goodwin. Goodwin gets near the first down, but he'll be just a little bit short. Make it about a yard to go for the first down.
I don't have it, but I'm betting Collins was a pitcher in high school. Talked about how he played for a state title at Catholic Central High School, but the fact that he just threw a dart to Demarius Goodwin, the graduation student, top 25 all-time after transferring from Morgan State in John Carroll in rushing yards, 21 in career touchdowns. Here's one for you. He's tied with the former Miami Dolphins running back and head coach and all-time touchdowns at John Carroll.
Straight ahead goes Goodwin, and he has the first down.
It's not really hard to figure out, though. You're a smart guy. The field's named after him.
Yeah, that's not a tough one.
At a normal school, it might be, but the fact that the stadium that they play at now, 100 games at home in Don Shula Stadium is probably the giveaway.
And that would lead us into all the alumni and former coaches at John Carroll over the years, and that list is incredible.
I don't know what the penalty was, but it was a 5-yard mark-off against ONU for offside.
So it's a first down, 1st and 10 into Ohio Northern territory. Football at the 41. High Northern defense, we said this before here this afternoon, Michael. They've just been on the field far too long.
Yeah, they had a good 15 minutes of real time where they were on the field at one point. Michael Johnson doing everything he can to get free. They might have argued he was being held. Forces that incomplete on that backside throw.
And complete to number 83, Detweiler.
He's had a couple of targets already in this game.
So it's going to keep it, it's going to make it 2nd down and 10 as Goodwin will stay in. Few will go over to the right side.
John Carroll does a good job of creating havoc, of not letting you know where they're coming from. It's another straight draw play. And picks up good yards.
Gets it to about the 35-yard line. So
but they move guys around. You'll see it here as Goodwin comes in motion. And then it allows his team to kind of create a mismatch for a split second. And with a kid with that good first step, that's all he needs.
Javon Taylor in on the stop for Ohio Northern.
There's the Urban Meyer influence on the game. So everybody stops and then retools.
John Carroll set. Collins ready for the snap. Goodwin to his right. 3 receivers left side. Collins is going to the right, and Torek, and he'll make the catch. Tiptoes along the line and has the first down. And Torek with another fine catch for the Blue Streaks.
And you'll see here, he gets Ed Manning thinking maybe he's going to go on a straight go route. Just at the last second, is able to break off. And then watch the ballet skills. Get the toes down.
Beautiful catch and reception by Torek.
He's a big fan of the Moscow Ballet.
Goodwin straight ahead.
It's a gain of 3 and Again, like I said, there's 3 or 4 yard gains just continue to add up. The total yardage back out in the favor of John Carroll, 226 to 165.
Going under 4 minutes here in the third quarter. Goodwin straight ahead.
Beaver thought he had him, but another quick gain of a couple. Might be a little easier to do. It looked to me the entire left side of the line might have gotten a head start.
It's going to make it 3rd down and 5.
And you know that if you pick up, they're at the 14 with, I'd say, about 10 yards. You're probably going to see Sullivan again. He's the short line hammer.
John Carroll just really starting now to take control of this game, controlling the time of possession, controlling the football as they move steadily downfield.
Play clock's at 7.
Collins looks right.
Yep.
You come back left.
Great tackle by, who's that man? Dalton Jong.
Dalton Jong.
15 tackles last week, 55 all in the season out of one of the 8 high schools in Cumming, Georgia. West Forsyth High School.
Jong among the leaders in the Ohio Athletic Conference in tackles.
He's been in the top 10 all season.
55 plus overall for Ohio Northern. 4th down and 2. Here comes John Carroll. See if Ohio Northern's defense can come up with a big play one more time for the Polar Bears.
2 of 2 on 4th down so far. And they got stopped.
McVeigh is not going to get the first down, and Ohio Northern cause for celebration. The Polar Bear defense.
There you see it. They just sold out on that run up the middle. And that's what I've said. At times, your unpredictability makes you predictable in that you go to pretty much anything at any point on the field. Well, Northern just pretty much bet, hey, they've had success with running up the middle. Maybe that's what they'll try. Let's see what happens.
And Ohio Northern will take over the football.
So the last couple of possessions with the fumble and the punt don't come back to hurt them. Still down by 17. But again, it's not out of what Northern has done in the past.
Figueroa, he'll stand at about the 6-yard line to take this snap. Martin, Figueroa's going to throw it upfield.
Overthrew L.J. Payton.
That time John Carroll really had it covered, but I'll tell you, Figueroa's got a nice arm.
Yeah, and we saw that on that, again, play that we thought was going to be a touchdown that was stripped away. But
boy, you know, when you look at this game, there's just so many little things that Ohio Northern has not been able to do, and it's a difference. Like that catch, you got the fumbles.
The 4 fumbles.
Those just loom so large as it's only a 24-7 game. And
right, if I told you Northern has 4 fumbles, you would probably, oh, that's got to be a face mask, right? How did he change direction?
Figueroa goes down.
You get a look at the replay on the 4-yard loss. I could be wrong. He could have gotten the shoulder, but it was just kind of an awkward angle. Well, maybe he did get the shoulder.
He got the shoulder pad.
That's my bad. From the angle that I sit at, it looked like just when his head whipped around that it might have been a face mask, but the great job that the camera guys do get you a look to just prove Mike Hearn's wrong. Doesn't take a lot.
3rd down and 14, and Ohio Northern looking on the sidelines. They need to get some space here on 3rd and 14.
Here's a crazy one for you. Northern's got 4 fumbles that they've lost in this ball game. John Carroll's defensive record has actually been set. It's a throw by Figueroa high for Ike.
Looking for Ike, and it's going to be incomplete.
A game between these two in 1991. Ohio Northern threw 8 interceptions.
That would have been a long afternoon. 8 interceptions?
Yeah, tied the school record that was set in '69 against Thiel College. And I was looking at John Carroll's history. You know, we talked about beforehand about teams that Ohio Northern has played. I don't know the entire story because I couldn't find it, but John Carroll once played a Marine Corps football team.
That would have been a tough game.
He had a handful of the records set against those guys. It's a long day at the office.
And Ohio Northern will punt it from the end zone. John Michael Elliott.
Got the wind with him.
Standing on the R. Rush comes, kick is away. It's a good one. It's driving Gallagher way back, and it's got a great roll. It'll change field position all around. It goes all the way to the 17-yard line. And I'll tell you what, Elliott really boomed that one. Elliott,
I'm right, it's 72 yards.
Elliott averaged 38.2 per punt coming into today's game. He had a couple of good ones.
It'll be about 64 yards.
They'll still take it. 64 yards puts the football at the 17 and changes field position in this one.
I think it's his longest punt.
He had a couple long ones last time, 2 weeks ago against Mount Union.
No, it was a 74-yarder against Mount Union.
Yeah, he had 74.
He got the same roll.
Straight ahead. Sullivan with the football. He's in a lineup to chew up some yardage and some time.
Which is weird because they're not near the goal line. They're near their own goal line.
He's getting to play with the football at the John Carroll 20-yard line.
How about that punt, though?
Oh, it's a beautiful one.
76 yards unofficially is what they called it.
That was longer than the one he had last week then.
That was a heck of a roll.
As you see, the clock coming up to 30 seconds. Third down and 2. Sullivan straight ahead, but he's going nowhere.
This will be a chance here for Northern to open the fourth quarter with something big.
Is that your man? Was Connor Rowe in on that one?
I believe he was.
Yeah, Connor Rowe.
Let's try to get Jack Lambert on.
That's going to end our quarter. We'll come back to the Connor Rowe story again. Third quarter ends. Our score, John Carroll 24, Ohio Northern 7. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Whatever Cards and Games in Ada is your locally owned, family-friendly business for all your gaming needs. We carry a wide range of collectible card games, board games, family games, role-playing games, educational games for all ages, and more. Stop in today for your much-needed expansion packs and war miniatures. We are an official tournament store for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Cardfight Vanguard. Expect an enjoyable time at Whatever Cards and Games, where there's fun for everyone.
Ohio Northern fans here today enjoying the Polar Bear Marching Band as we move on into the fourth quarter on a beautiful fall afternoon here on the Ohio Northern campus located in Ada. And as you said, Michael, lots of high school football players here today watching this afternoon's contest.
It's Mario Wave's fair catch. First time he's gotten to touch the football today. It's got to be frustrating as a return man who is out there. You see him with the breast cancer pink shirts on today, but return man, your job is to return the football, and you just can't get one because of how high. And I said 47 and 43, John Carroll and ONU on their punting averages respectively. And minus the 74-yarder, that's half the field.
And it's tough, you know, with the way the wind is. If you're into the wind, it's tough to make the catch. If it's away from or with the wind, it can be just as difficult as well. Of course, though, by making those fair catches and catching the ball, you save so many yards. As Figueroa digs in at the 31-yard line. Fakes to Martin and swat down time as I believe that's numbers.
It was Griffin Lydiard again. He has been a terror. Often watch this big hit him with the right hand. Hiya. That's not going to work.
What a defensive play. And makes it second down 10. Clock stops at 14:50, 10 seconds into the fourth quarter.
Still got to try to get Austin Ike involved. Or his slot, I should say, in the offense. He had that fumble after he hasn't come back yet, I don't believe.
I haven't seen him. Figueroa. That's Peyton over on the left side. Or rather, make that Jordan Dean, I believe.
Yeah, Jordan Dean, the big, long receiver, all on the opposite side, comes forward for a gain of 3.
So that makes it 3rd down and 7.
I think he's a guy that is a fascinating, I mean, big, physical receiver. They just haven't been able to kind of get him to go.
He's just a sophomore, 6'4", 170 pounds, big, tall, slender receiver for Ohio Northern.
Austin Ike, 5th all-time in receiving at Northern.
Ike is in the game. He's to the right side. And Figueroa is going to go down.
Never got a chance to develop that one as the backside pressure.
Number 15, Jaheim Peak, 6'2" junior out of St. Vincent St. Mary's.
That would probably explain the St. Vincent coats I saw earlier. It's probably his family.
Would
it's a
make
nice
sense.
little drive to Akron. See if you can get through on the highway.
If you can get through 30, right? Elliot's going to kick
that.
I just drove it yesterday, so I understand it.
Well, then when you get into Akron, it's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
Especially where St. Vincent is. You got to really go across town to get there.
Elliott is going to get it away, but it's not a great kick. Picked up by Ohio Northern. I'm not sure what that means.
I can't wait to see how this one's ruled.
I got, well, 30. That was 34 for
But
Ohio
he would have been over the line when he kicked it, I think, is the argument.
Is that Austin?
Austin Wilson.
34, ended up with it. Went off John Carroll.
I think it's going to be John Carroll's ball. I got to be honest with you.
Did hit a John Carroll player.
It did, but I'm pretty sure that the punter was across the line by the time that he kicked it.
I don't know if I've ever seen a kicker pass the line in an actual game.
You have now. Look at this replay.
Let's see it again.
The line, by the way, is right here. Oh, I guess it just looked like he was further up when he did it. Again, the angle is sometimes the hardest thing.
There, well, it hit the John Carroll player right there.
So it hit him at about the 42-yard line.
Wilson picks it up. So what's the call? It went off of the John Carroll player.
Only I had an official to tell me.
And we have a confab at the near midfield.
Cue the Jeopardy theme, but we'd probably get sued for it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Ken Jennings being the host of Jeopardy. Oh, we got every official now.
And Drew Nystrom he's
you can almost anticipate the boos coming, right?
Yeah. So
we found 3 doors down 2 hours later. These guys in the truck think they're funny.
Lots of discussion on this one. I don't know. I think it's Ohio Northern football, but
I'll be honest. I was wrong. I honestly thought that the punter was further up than where he was because of where he got hit.
That'll shoot Elliott's average after a 74-yarder.
Hit about a 6-yard punt.
Yeah. So let's see what we do. Now they're going to talk to
Dean Paul.
Dean Paul and.
First down, Northern.
Ohio Northern has the football on the recovery. A bizarre play, and it goes Ohio Northern's way. And Drew Nystrom, the interim head coach for John Carroll, he's hearing it from the officials and might be.
I think he's giving it to the officials.
Well, there's not much you can do. It's just one of them fluke plays. The lineman for John Carroll was really trying to get the heck out of the way of the ball.
I think if this game runs back, it should just run just that play.
Yeah,
it's like you can write in and tell us how this play actually gets called. Officiated, and we'll give you a prize.
So, Ohio Northern has the football at the 43. Brock Martin has it now. He goes left side. may gain a yard, and that's about it as we approach the 13-minute mark on the John and Tony's Restaurant scoreboard.
Bricker Thiel with another tackle. I had already written down that John Carroll had the football, by the way. So it was an oddity. Well, they say be around long enough, you'll see everything.
That's correct. I don't think I've ever seen one quite like that. Taz Figueroa, he'll take the snap. He'll just dump it off to Martin. Martin's got some blocking, and he'll get it across to the 45. Northern did a nice job of setting that up. Some good interior blocking for Martin, so he picks up the first down.
He's got great hands, caught that ball high. And I think John Adams, who's not at the Guardians game tonight, is down there with the drums.
He's came here for a special appearance.
That's what it sounds like.
He's pounding away. Figueroa, Martin. Martin's going to follow the lead block, and he'll get into John Carroll territory even further, and he's near the first down. I think he's got it. They're going to move the chains again. They're going to mark it a yard short of that.
He kind of fell awkwardly. I love using Davey Burner. That's a terrific job of seeing what was in front of you and using it for Martin.
I'll tell you, Burner and Miller are a couple of big tight ends, that's for sure.
Good blockers, too.
They got them double on the right side, don't they now? Yeah. Let's see if they go that way. That's the way they go on the pitch. Martin trying to get outside, but what a great defensive play by John Carroll.
That's a shame, too, because watch the stiff arm, the pie face all the way. It's like if you cut in front of Scott Robinson trying to get your food, he just said, get out of my way. This is not going to work. Unfortunately, Northern not able to pick up the first down.
James Austin with the tackle for John Carroll, so that makes it third down and short for the Polar Bears.
Figueroa on the draw. Oh, Martin on the draw.
Martin left side, but
didn't get it again.
Don't think he made it.
Turf monster. You'd think they'd be able to figure out a solution to the turf monster by now.
So it's still fourth down and a little bit less than a yard. High Northern quickly to the line. Figueroa is going to sneak it.
Nope.
He's not going anywhere. And the John Carroll bench is in celebration.
What was a golden opportunity for Northern comes up with the door slammed in their face.
Well, they tried to go quick, but John Carroll was ready for it. And with Figueroa underneath the center.
And also, you have a back behind him 7 yards in Martin, and you have two receivers out to the left. So you don't have enough beef up front because, again, it's kind of the unpredictable, predictable thing where what haven't they done yet? When they try this, I always say this in the red zone, teams that run spread offenses have a hard time when they need to pick up a yard because they're so used to picking up 6 or 7 that when they go short, they don't get that push up front. That's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, they had three plays for no gain, trying to pick up that yard. So John Carroll will take over. As you can see, 10:55 to go in this game. And forward goes John Carroll as they'll continue to work the clock.
I like when guys just throw their towels down on the field. I don't need that. The referee just stands there and looks at them. What? I'm not your mom. Pick up your laundry. Gain of 7 on the play.
Second down 3, football at the 43.
This is the attempt to put the game away drive right here for John Carroll.
Collins, Goodwin.
Took too long.
Play did not materialize very fast.
There's my guy again, Connor Rowe.
Connor Rowe, he's...
Watch him come through the line here. He'll come off that backside, and I always call that the Statue of Liberty play because you just kind of stand there waiting for the guy to come take it from you. And it just takes way too long to develop.
And Rowe was there to make the stop.
Loss of 2 on the play.
Third down and 5 as Collins.
John Carroll making themselves at home. 11-5 all-time on games played in Ada. But
there's the sack.
It's Connor Rowe and Josh Beaver. If that's Beaver, by the way, I'm curious to see how they score this. If he gets the sack, see here, if he gets half, He now moves into second place all-time in Northern history. I think he makes the play to get the sack, but he'd give him half, and
he's close. That may have been a record setter, but it's hard to tell. I'm going to guess that it would be a half a sack.
Half it.
Yep.
What a terrific game by him. I talked about that earlier on, about how when he's fresh, he's a difference maker.
Polar Bears
that one.
Go for the block. It's going to bound at the 21. It's going to roll, and it's going to roll to the.
This is the worst.
Still going to roll.
It's the 1.
The 1 yard line. Wow, what a roll.
I think it's 77 yards.
We've seen a couple of incredible punts.
That's a 77-yard punt.
Goes all the way to the 1 yard line. So Ohio Northern will take over football, resting at the 1 with 8:44 to go in this one.
How many times have you ever done a game in which
270 yards
had a punter kick a ball at a defender only to be recovered by his own team, less than 10 yards, and then have 2 punts that traveled over 70 yards?
Now, never seen the 270 yarders. I can say that truthfully.
I don't think I've ever seen one 77-yard punt, let alone one that was close to it.
Figueroa tries to get a yard. That's optimistic. 2nd down and 9.
Again, I know that his number might not necessarily look impressive in this ball game, but I'm telling you right now, that kid is going to be something special.
Taz Figueroa.
First downs are about even.
Yeah, you take a look at the numbers, and it does not look like a 24-7 game.
Nunley with
that's
fake.
Figueroa will somehow keep it. He'll nice move up near the 8 yard line. That's a great fake
there on the bottom side of the screen with Nick Tangeman. You see here, Figueroa makes that decision. Nunley just draws the ire of the defense.
Nice cut upfield by Figueroa.
But I like the fieriness in these games. That's what more games need. More rivalry. I've been saying that for a while. Kiefer Askew, the transfer from Hanover College. Here's one for you. That's the guy that he was mixing it up with. Figueroa went to fake the pitch play and ended up getting taken down at the 4. But looking at Kiefer Askew, I don't know how they came up with this. But when he was at Hanover College last year, he was the NCAA stat champ for passes broken up per game.
Passes broken up per game.
So passes thrown towards him that he knocked down or dislodged from a receiver.
I was going to say I didn't know they even kept that.
I didn't know that. He's out of Warner Robins, Georgia.
Yeah. Elliott is going to boom it away from the end zone. He gets it out to the 45. Gallagher. It gets to near the 35-yard line. Let's call it the 36.
It's the oddest set of punts.
Well, he played 4 years at Hanover, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And then transferred over with the extra year.
That was student. One thing that John Carroll had a lot of success at over is that 5th year.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, of their 22 starters, they had 6 grad students. It's a place to go if you're a smart kid.
Collect
games from there before.
Collect your MBA, yeah.
I did a couple of basketball games from John Carroll a couple of years ago.
Collins, he's going to hand off. McVeigh, and he gets to about the 26. Yeah, we had a couple of the girls' games in the John Carroll in the finals of the OAC tournament or semifinals.
And we used to do the OAC game of the week up there. That was a heck of a travel. My in-laws lived in Cleveland, so it wasn't so bad for me. They wouldn't let me through the gate, though, the first time around. I don't know what that was all about.
Football at the 37 in motion.
Torok, little pitch play.
Torok, he's going right side, still on his feet, looking for the end zone, but he's Knocked out of bounds there by number 17, Jong.
Put him at the 18-yard line.
Boy, he has speed, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. I said earlier on, he's a game breaker. Tiger Laverde knew what he was doing when he recommended this kid to John Carroll.
Clock coming up on 5 minutes to play in this one. 5.5 minutes right now. And
Woodfork back into the ball game for Northern. It's been out for this entire drive.
John Carroll looking for the drive to put him away. Goodwin, right side.
If Collins had just kept it, he could walk his way into the end zone.
Picks up 2 yards, 2nd down and 8.
So Polar Bears had that week off. They played well. Again, the second quarter went very well for them. They were able to get a couple of big stops, so they need to just kind of force a turnover here, 24-7.
Collins. The 21 fakes the handoff. Short pass. Big tight end. They'll have it. He'll move through to the 5-yard line. Tatus Tatarunas. Tatarunas.
Again, the point I tried to make, and I made it sloppily earlier, is that Mitch Trubisky was an all-Ohio pick at Mentor, and it took him to the state finals. He threw for more yards than Mitch Trubisky did in a single game. The Division I record. It used to be a big quarterback.
Goodwin. Going forward as stop there made by number 21, A.J. D'Souza.
He also ran into Javon Taylor.
And Javon Taylor also.
Sousa, like Henry Phillip? It's a different guy. Scott will appreciate that. He's a big band guy. This is, again, spread offense. Just continue to run the ball, kill the clock. You're up 24-7. You have 3.5 minutes to go.
Don't care if you ever give the ball up again. Next 3 yards can take for 3 minutes as far as John Carroll's concerned.
Or you just give it to Sullivan.
And that's probably what's going to happen. Sullivan to the right of Collins. He'll get the call straight ahead.
No, he bootlegged out to the right.
And Collins will throw it down. Stops
Sullivan
the clock.
Did a good job.
That was a great fake. I was thinking Sullivan was getting the football.
I only knew because I saw Collins out of the corner of my eye with the ball, and I thought, why is he just running to the sideline? Well, he's got the ball with him. He threw it down to avoid the loss. Smart play. Again, finance major. Feel like he's got to be a smart kid.
Stops the clock at 3:20.
He's got 20 carries for negative 18 yards this year.
He threw, 16 passes last season, and this season is averaging 17 completions per game. That's a pretty good turnaround.
And coming into today, at about 67%, 98 of 147, highest completion percentage in John Carroll history.
Collins, left side to Torek. This time the High Northern Austin Collin.
He said, could I have a word with you, please?
With the stop, that'll loss of 3 yards there, so it'll make it 4th down and 6.
I don't think you're going to bring the field goal unit in because you're just trying to kill off the time. 3 minutes to go in the ball game, play clock at 30.
4th down and 6.
Now I would be surprised if maybe they didn't try to run that option play that they done a couple times, or that kind of, I call it the Statue of Liberty delayed handoff.
McVeigh's in the lineup, so let's see what they do. Few to the left side. Passes over to the middle to McVeigh, but it's going to be incomplete. Clock will stop. 2:29 on the collision.
I love the end of it, though. Ed Manning hit him, and then he pointed, said, go back to the sideline. He pointed right back up at the scoreboard, as you would imagine. Rather sloppy ending to this ball game for as good as both teams played.
And Ohio Northern will come back out on the field, the offensive unit, with 2:29 to go in this one.
It's a total yardage of 267 to 182 in this ball game. It's Northern, I believe, they're going to go to their backup quarterback. Is that Garrett out there now? Garrett Higgins, the quarterback.
Higgins, we saw some action.
And a spin on the second catch of the year for Nicky Tangeman. Marion local contingent are directly below us, because that was the biggest cheer I've heard in a while.
Football goes to the 14-yard line. Garrison Higgins, freshman out of Hawaii.
Played his high school ball his senior year in Utah. Just continued to migrate east.
Higgins, he'll go straight back under pressure. He'll run it. He'll get to the 20 and just shy of there, he'll be stopped.
I like when he slides under the defender.
I wouldn't want to did it the other way. That might have hurt quite a bit.
And we saw Higgins play a couple of weeks ago when Northern had to use 4 different quarterbacks against Mount. He's thrown just 7 passes for 44 yards on the year.
Higgins.
Big arm. Good throw.
Pass.
Slightly underthrown.
Intercepted by number 24. That's Justin Renner. Comes away with the interception.
State track qualifier in the 4x100 meters is Renner. I thought at first this was a good throw. Watch it in the air, but it just sort of held up in the wind for some reason. Intended for Jack DeMario, and Renner was able to climb the ladder out of West Geauga High School.
Saying we've got a break in the action. I'd like to remind you that today's game brought to you by John and Tony's Restaurant, Four Seasons Drive-Thru, Jalapenos Mexican Grill, whatever cards and games, and NKTelco, all bringing you this afternoon's game here from Ohio Northern University. I'd like to remind you also that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of today's college football action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays Wednesday, November the 2nd at 5 p.m., Saturday, November the 5th at 7 p.m. And you can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. 24-7 our score. John Carroll with the big lead. They'll have the football once the injured player is off the field. Hope
No
it's
doctor,
not
but I think it was a cramp. Almost positive it was a cramp from where they were kind of up on his leg. Not exactly what you want, though, if you're Northern. Turnovers are going to be the story of this ball game. Mount Union came in and outgained them by a pretty good margin, but today Northern has outgained John Carroll 105-86 on the ground, 267-195 overall, about the same amount of plays. Time of possession was a big one, 33-25, but those 4 fumbles and an interception for Northern have derailed anything that they would like to do here.
Yeah, turnover ratio is going to take a hit for Ohio Northern this week. So we've got about a minute 31 to play in this one. Well, let's take a break right now. Our score, John Carroll 24, Ohio Northern 7. You're watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
At Four Seasons Drive-Thru, we offer weekly specials that are sure to satisfy all appetites. Monday through Thursday, come in to enjoy our daily lunch specials. Friday is our Get It Till It's Gone fish special. Friday and Saturday, grab a 16-inch 3-item pizza, 10 wings, and a 2-liter for just $20. Sunday, we also have a 3-piece chicken for $5 and a 16-piece for $20. Four Seasons Drive-Thru, great drinks, great food, wonderful service, and amazing prices.
Ohio Northern and John Carroll wrapping it up. OAC action from Dial-Roberson Stadium here in Ada on the Bill Robinson Field. Collins handoff to Goodwin. Straight ahead he goes and pushes it up near the 36-yard line as the clock counts down. And so right when you look at this one, Michael, and turnovers just the big area of difference between these two teams here this afternoon. But as you also said, and we also mentioned earlier, Aiden Figueroa is a bright spot for Ohio Northern as you move to the future for the Polar Bears.
You could see early on in Brody Hahn's career he was going to be something special, right? When he first burst onto the scene for Northern. I think you can make the same case for Taz Figueroa because surrounded with the right caliber of players, and Northern has them. It's just a matter of kind of jigsaw pieces right now of figuring out, all right, this guy works the best with that guy and whatever. But they went a long way today between he and Brock Martin of what the future can hold this season and what Northern is possible to do offensively.
And the clock counts down in the final 20 seconds. And you also have, the schedule. You're playing, 3 ranked teams. Alma in Michigan, they're unbeaten. That's the team they lost to in overtime to start the year. So that's going to be it from Ohio Northern. Final score here, John Carroll 24, Ohio Northern 7. We'll be back with our recap in just a moment. You are watching college football on NKTelco Sports.
Households are using more connected devices than ever before. TVs are streaming, smartphones are browsing, security cameras are watching, and virtual assistants are, assisting.
You'll need an umbrella today.
As you add more devices, we are constantly improving our technology to deliver the fastest and most reliable internet to your home. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get NKTelco high-speed internet with speeds up to 1 gig. Call 1-888-NKTelco today.
Laredo Lanes in Ada offers men's league bowls on Mondays and Wednesday evenings, women's league bowls on Thursday evenings, couples bowls on Friday evenings, kids bowl on Saturday mornings from December through March, Scotch mixed double bowls on the last Saturday of every month, open bowling on Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon reserve the bowling alley for children's birthday parties, and on Sunday, lanes are available to reserve for birthdays of any age as well as for group events. Check out LaredoLanes.com for more info.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? Lincoln Electric Automation in Coldwater and Fort Loramie supplies top-of-the-line automation systems to manufacturers. Lincoln Electric Automation routinely develops its team through hiring and by offering advanced technical training. We understand that every employee matters, and every role contributes to the success of our business. We offer advancement opportunities, competitive wages, and benefit packages. Visit LincolnElectric.com and get on track to a better career and a better future.
Orthopedic Center is focused on a personalized, caring approach to treat all aspects of orthopedics, including total joint replacement, shoulder reconstruction, stem cell injections, and more. Dr. James Kemmler and Jed Cooney, certified PA, are dedicated to providing the best orthopedic care in the Grand Lake region. Kemmler Orthopedic Center has offices located in Salina and Van Wert, along with extended evening hours. To schedule an appointment, call our office at 419-586-5760.
Kogi Plumbing and Heating is your Bryant Factory authorized dealer. We have brought the best of comfort, control, and plumbing services to the St. Mary's area for over 60 years. We have been Reader's Choice winners for the last 4 years running and excel at providing our customers with efficient and reliable heating and air conditioning, as well as responsive service when a plumbing emergency arises. We insist that the products we install in our customers' homes and businesses offer the same performance and value that we expect ourselves. Call today for your next plumbing and heating or air conditioning needs. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Number 25, John Carroll, moves to 5-1 overall with a 24-7 win over Ohio Northern, and also to 5-0 in OAC play. Ohio Northern falls to 1-4 or 1-5 and 1-4 in OAC play. Ohio Northern made some progress here this afternoon, even though the score is 24-7. I think we would agree on that, Michael.
Yeah, and again, there was a time where at 17-7, you come out of the halftime break, they've just scored on that long possession going into that 20-minute stoppage where they were able to move the football, but just self-inflicted wounds. 5 turnovers in this ball game, 4 fumbles, and a pick. The pick is kind of inconsequential, though, to the entire story because of where it occurs at the end. But, I mean, you open up that second half, those handful of punts, you get that fumble, you kind of escape, but then it goes downhill. The big 35-yard pass play for John Carroll, which sets up their touchdown to get to 24-7. And nothing really goes right after that point. I mean, Northern has about 20 plays the rest of the ball game from that point at 8:46 in the third. John Carroll figured out what Northern was going to do. At one point, you see the rushing yards. Northern picked them up on that big 8-minute drive in the second quarter, but they weren't able to connect on their passing plays. The time of possession is a fascinating number to me because it was 17-4 at one point in favor of John Carroll. So 34-35 to 25-25 is about as good as you can hope. It's not a bad game against a top 25 team. It's just a game that you can tweak and improve on as you come back home next week for homecoming.
Yeah, next week is where Ohio Northern's mind needs to be now. They play Muskegon at home in their homecoming contest. And, you know, the last 4 games of the season, Ohio Northern can pull things back and get them into the, I guess you would say, the typical perspective for an Ohio Northern team.
Well, you said it when we were talking before we even went on about how their schedule is so top-loaded. I mean, the 3 ranked teams in Heidelberg, Mount Union, and John Carroll, and then you had Alma in that game in the overtime. It was kind of crazy. It comes down to, but we had 2 different ones where a ball hit the upright that could have easily changed the complexion of that ball game. So it's not all doom and gloom. It just gives you 6 days to figure some things out.
And John Carroll, they're moving on towards the showdown coming up at the end of the season, you know, with Mount Union. And John Carroll, a pretty solid football team as they continue on their 5-0 in OAC play. And we'd like to thank you, everybody out there, for watching here on NKTelco Sports. I'd like to thank our sponsors for today's game. John and Tony's Restaurant, 4 Seasons Drive-Thru, Jalapenos Mexican Grill, Whatever Cards and Games at NKTelco, our scoreboard sponsors. John and Tony's Restaurant, additional sponsors, Whatever Cards and Games, 4 Seasons Drive-Thru, and Jalapenos Mexican Grill with locations in Ada and Shawnee, and Northwest Ohio Liquidations. I'd like to remind you that today's game, in addition to being live, is also broadcast on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays are Wednesday, November the 2nd at 5 p.m., Saturday, November the 5th at 7 p.m., and you can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. I'd like to thank our crew here today in Ada, all of them doing an excellent job on the camera. Mark Fissel, Kurt Kuffner, Paul Downing, Assistant Director today, Jim Miller, and our Director, Scott Robinson. I'm Dave Helmstetter, and along with me this afternoon, Michael Hearn. Our final score from Ohio Northern University, the John Carroll Blue Streaks, 24, Ohio Northern 7. You have been watching college football on NKTelco Sports.